So I'm going to turn this over, and welcome guests by the way. I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Arner, because right now he's the one that wants to talk to you first. So can we just give him a hand?
Does anyone know how much water we can drink? In the planet, what percent? 5%, 10% of the world's water out there in the ocean. Does anyone know how much? Yes. 10. Who says 10? Raise your hand. 10? How many say 5% water out there we can drink? Well, believe it or not, yeah, there. How about lower than that? How about 2%? But 1% of all the water out there in the world is drinkable. We don't have actually it's 3% is that we can use. So we have a lot. You know what we're mostly made of? Water. What type of water? We're mostly fresh water. No, salt water. Most of our body is salty. Have you ever had a sweat before? You guys remember that weekend? Yeah. So we're going to have fun talking about some different things about water. Okay. Now, do you know what Earth spells? The Earth and the heart are two related. Now, if you think about water in a certain way, you can change water. You guys want to change the way water is? No! You see, water we can use all the time, but we have to have a good attitude. You know what attitude means? Yes, what? Yeah, attitude is where we have a good, we love it. We feel in our heart. Now, do you know, everyone touch your heart. Now, what happens if you take the H off heart and put it at the end of the world? This is the word. Does anyone know what that spells? Earth. Yeah, let's go and say one more. You see, our heart drives all the water around in our body, in the circle. Now, what outside drives all the water in the circle, where it goes all the way up around? Anyone know? Yes. The sun. Let's give a seal over the sun. Oh, good job. So we're going to I'm gonna start singing. I'm a little water can, short and stout. Okay, so everyone, I want you all stand up. Everyone stand up. Spread out. Everyone stand up. What's that? That's right. What's that spelled the other way? What's God spelled backwards? That's right. Dog. Good. You guys are quick. Just like when my dad used to say, "Boy, you're sharp as a bowling ball." Are you sharp? No, I'm just saying. Actually, this outfit, I ran for president of the United States on April Fool's Day in the Capitol. Yep, and you know what my platform was? You're not dealing with a full deck when you throw the joker out. Right? Do you guys ever play a deck of cards? What do you do with the joker? Yeah, you throw the joker out, yeah. It was 1986, I remember. It was a different president, it was spelled differently. My headrest. Come protect her. Nah, they put it in water because I don't want to splash it all See, I'm always looking, I'd rather do things that are nice than things that are, wouldn't you? Because when you do things mean, it comes back, no, I know, no. So that's, okay, do we have everyone here? We have one more class?
No, we're finished.
We're all set?
We're all set.
We got a quorum. You want me to shut the door or is it, you want the door open?
Well, I guess if you want to keep it full, maybe we should shut it.
Well, whatever works for you. It doesn't matter. Or I'm closed. Welcome. For the next 40 minutes, we're going to have some fun, hopefully. You guys want to have some fun? Now, the key, we have a few rules. We have 3 rules today. We can have fun. You can't get too loud. You can't get too crazy. You have to have fun crazy. No one gets hurt. You know. So first thing we're going to talk about is water. Can you all see that? Water is life. That's Noah, you water. Noah, you're water. We're going to talk about water. See, water is life. Remember I talked about, remember the first thing about the sun? Remember when we did all this? Remember this? All the way up? This drives the water around a circle. Just like our what? Like our and what happens if you take the H off part and you put it at the end? It spells earth. It's all connected. Oh, I'm going backwards. See, water equals life. Now, just yesterday, I was hiking in my house. But even though it was raining, I went up in the woods, I had to take what? Water. That's correct. See, you can't last a long time. You can last without sleep and you can last without food for a while. But the first thing you need is
water.
That's right. So you see water's in all facets. What are all the, you guys have some ideas of the types of things you do with water? Yes? Get in the water, yeah. Splash in puddles, yes, yes. Yeah, yes.
We swim in water.
Swim in water, yes.
You drink water.
We drink water, yes. Any other things you do?
Brush.
Yeah, we brush. Yeah, I'm sorry. You, yes, yes. You can dive in the water, yeah. Ride your bike in the water, yes, yes.
And like your water.
Yes. Make ice. Make ice with water.
Oh, yeah,
Ooh, we're going to different things, yes.
Use water to plant flowers.
Oh, plant flowers, yes.
You brush your teeth with water.
Yes.
Do that stuff.
Pardon me?
Do that stuff.
Belly flop in water. Yes, right there. Get out of the rain. Get out of the water. Yes. Yeah. Do that. You can fish. So we've gone over there's a lot of things we do. We boat, we fish, we cook, all the different things. So water eats life. Now, this is what I was talking about, remember before? There's a cycle of water. There's a cycle, okay? And there's three things we're going to learn today in the cycle. They're the 3 R's. Do you know what the 3 R's are? Yes. Okay, but I'll talk about the 3 R's that we do in trash. That's correct. Reduce, reuse, recycle. By the way, this whole outfit was reused material. Someone made it for me, right, years ago. But we're going to talk about the cycle of water. So what's the first thing is, what happened yesterday?
It rained.
It rained. So that's called, as you were saying before, precipitation. Okay? And then what happens, it either runs off, which we'll talk about, or it goes in our ground. Okay? Now around here, if you go up 81 all the way, I live up north of you all, up in Shenandoah County. I don't know if you've ever been up there, but up there, right by the highway, the ground is a lot like Swiss cheese. We have a lot of things like caverns. You ever heard of Luray Caverns? We have Shenandoah Caverns. And you know what happens when the water does that? The water just goes right through. So it's really, you got to watch out for that type of thing. It's called karst. It means that water can get polluted easily. And around here you have that. Any of you have been to a sinkhole? You know what a sinkhole is? Or do you have springs around here?
Yes.
Yeah, if you have springs and stuff like that, you have a problem. We have, the water goes all the way down to an aquifer. Later today, we're going to talk about this when we do our desserts. We're going to have little ice cream desserts. If you're good, I might give you some Oreos. And if you're real good, we might get you some soda. Okay? So, okay, and it goes. Okay, listen up. That's, you all, remember our rule. Eyes on the prize. Yes, you have a question. I'm sorry, what?
Everybody's last. Put 3 up for do not talk.
3 up for do not talk. There's our reduce, reuse, recycle 3. So it goes all the way down. Sometimes it flows down. It's underground. We have springs. The water goes all the way down. It goes discharged or it runs off. You know the #1 source of water pollution in our country?
Yeah.
Yes.
Litter.
Litter? No. Sun? No. Oils? That's my specialty. No. It's the stuff I was going to give you instead of ice cream today.
No.
Soil. That's right. It's called runoff. It's called erosion. Okay? It goes all the way, and all that stuff is a real problem. And you can see it. You guys see yesterday was the water clean yesterday, or was it dirty? It wasn't. You saw it when it gets all brown and stuff like that. That's not good. And then what happens? It goes into the ocean, and then what happens? We're in a river. It gets back up. Now, just so you all know, water connects life. We are right now in a situation where water is going to evaporate. See it back here, the evaporation here? The water is going to evaporate really quicker now. Now, why is it going to evaporate quicker in May, June, July, August? Yes, someone knew. Who hasn't spoken? Yes.
Because it's so hot.
That's correct. So what we're probably going to have is a drought this summer because we're down, at least up where I live, 3 or 4 inches. Because the sun sucks all that water up. And that happened over the weekend with you all, right? Did you all notice you're drinking more water? Water connects life. Now, this is what I talk about this here. This is true. There's done studies. Dr. Miller did a study that water, thoughts, and feelings have an effect on water. Just like plants. You go home to your plant and go, you don't plant grow. You're not putting out the right attitude. But if we look at and set an intention, you know what intention is? That's saying, we set our mind to say, I love water. You all say, I love water? What happens is, we found out this is what the water looks like. It looks like it's snow. Water with love and gratitude creates like a diamond. But if you say, I hate water, it doesn't have that beautiful diamond. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask a few questions. Okay, first one is the energy source. What moves it around? The wind? How many say the wind? Put their hand up. How many say the sun moves the water around? And how many say the earth moves the water around? Okay, remember back when I said about the heart? What is the heart in our body moves our blood around, which is water? Outside, it's the sun.
Yeah!
The sun is the big driver. See, I have a character called Ray Cycle. It pulls everything around in a circle. The sun does it. Now, if you see that someday, have you ever looked at water coming off when it hits, like during the day when it's real hot? And you see water hit something, and what happens when that water rises up? It turns to steam. That's another. Okay? Yes, sir.
I thought it was the moon that moves the water.
Well, the moon, that's a good point. The planets, they say, also can move the waves. But ultimately, the sun has a gravitational pull, and the heat moves it around. Now, what percent of the water is fresh for us to drink? How many say 30%? How many say 3%? Oh, yeah. And how many say 13%? Okay, you said 3%. Do a seal. No, it's not art. It's art. Do you know, right now, have you ever heard about climate change yet? Have you ever heard about what? Okay, you learned about that. And there's various things that cause problems. And believe it or not, water can also create a situation. It's a gas. It's another form of water that's a gas. It's called melting, steam, or erosion. How many say melting? How many say steam? And how many say erosion? Boy, you said steam, you're right.
Yeah!
Okay, so have you ever made, so has any of you ever made tea?
No.
What happens when you make tea? What does it do? That's right, you can see it. And does it also whistle? You can see it, right?
No.
So we have a real challenge today. And the challenge is trying to keep things cool as we can, because water keeps things cool. And do you know what climate change is doing right now? It's hitting two things very big. Besides, it's melting something. What's it melting?
Why?
Yes? Icebergs, right? Yeah. And where are those on the planet? Does anyone else know?
At the bottom.
Someone, yes. No, in the back. Yeah, Antarctica's one too, and there's another place. And the other one, where it's cold, where Chilly Willy lives. And when he cries, he lives in Antarctica. Yes. What's the other?
Antarctica's here, and the top, what's on the top where the North Pole is at? What is it called? Arctic, yeah, like the Arctic Express. Okay? Okay. So, we're talking about climate change. Two things that's going to hit. Climate change is having a big impact on water. What's it going to do with water is that all that snow melts, it becomes water, believe it or not, it gets mixed into what? It becomes good drinking water. By the way, I've been to Alaska, and when you come off the glacier, you get water and you put your cup under it. Guess how old that water is? Some of that water is like thousands and thousands of years old.
Oh.
You know, it takes thousands of years for water to move around that surface. It takes a long time. But what you get is when you move, you have the water melting, it goes into a different type of water. That good drinking water goes into the what?
Salt water.
Salt water, that's right. Work your hand up. Okay. So, two things with climate change. Water is going to be affected, and another thing that we're going to have later at lunchtime. What is that stuff called?
Ice cream.
Ice cream, no. Well, it's another thing. Soda? Yeah, what is that all called? What do we eat? Cake? What is food? Food. Okay. So, we're going to do something now. We're going to go, what is the symbol for water? A, CO2. B, H2O. And C, O2. You got 100%. It's a big pie. Pie is beautiful. Okay. H2O, that's right. Hydrogen and oxygen mixed together. Now, that's, and again, that's mostly a lot of our body. Now, there's a study of water called A, who says geology, B, hydrology, or C, ecology. Okay. A, geo, means the earth. B, hydro, means water. And C means eco. So, what's hydro?
Water.
Aqua is another word for water. There's a lot of different things. So what's the answer? B. Everyone say hydrology. Hydrology, yeah. And there are all sorts of studies of water, different people that do it. Okay? Now, there's two types of water you're going to learn about. There's surface water that you see all the time. You know what surface water is? You see it out when you go boating, right? You've been boating? On the lakes? Yeah, that's right. On the rivers. And there's a thing called groundwater. Okay, now, the largest practice that uses water. What is a practice when we water our crops or our food? Is it A, dusting, B, irrigation, or C, cultivation? A, dusting, B, irrigation, or C, cultivation? The answer is B, irrigation. So you want to remember that. You ever heard someone sometimes they get excited and you say it, don't spray it? You ever heard that before? There's a say it, don't spray it. There's another expression that says communicate, don't irrigate. Okay? Now, by the way, you know how much this is a big thing. I'll go back to this one. Does anyone know how much water goes to our irrigation or watering our food? You want to guess how many percent? How many percent? What? 3%? No. How much of the water of drinking? Now, what I'm talking about is the drinking, the good water. We don't irrigate with salt water. You know what I mean? The ocean water. Yes? 100%? No, that's a lot. Of all the water we have, how much goes to irrigation that we use? Yes? 30%? 40%? Yes? 50? No? Nope. It's 3/4. Does anyone know what 3/4 of our water goes to? 75%. Can you all say 75%? Okay. Now remember, I was talking about when water moves from the surface to the ground. Okay. we went over that chart before. When water comes and rains down, and it moves down to the Earth's surface, does it precipitate, infiltrate, or evaporate? How many say precipitate? I can't even say it. Yeah, precipitation. I got my E's wrong. Okay, how many say precipitate? When water moves down the Earth's surface. How about B, infiltrates? Anyone for B, infiltrates? Some B? Good. And how about C, evaporates? Okay. Believe it or not, when I showed you back in the beginning, when water hits the ground, it infiltrates. Can you all say infiltrate? Infiltrate! It gets into your stuff. It infiltrates you. It doesn't evaporate. It doesn't precipitate. It infiltrates. It gets in. Okay. It's gonna start to get boring, so we're gonna make it a little more exciting. Okay. There's a thing in our home when we use water. It's called wastewater. Yeah. So sometimes, if you don't live in a city where I live in the country, up on a mountain. What happens? What do you use when you don't have a sewer line? You know what a sewer line is? That takes all your stuff out, all the bad stuff. And by the way, just to get to understand the wastewater, you know how many billions of tons of wastewater we generate in this country?
1,000.
1,000?
1,000.
1,000 billion? That's a lot.
I said million.
No.
5 billion.
I'm going to tell you right now because we're going to be here all day. 9 billion tons. The number one waste we have in this country is wastewater. So, when you don't have a sewer pipe, okay, to take your water like in the school, and you're in a rural area, what is it called where it goes? You call it a well. How many say a well? You take your wastewater into a well. You put your B, septic tank. It goes to a septic tank. How many say septic tank? Or C, into your garden shed. How many say garden shed? That's a little strange. They're all wastewater. So what do you think the answer is? Septic tank. You guys, you don't want to be taking the stuff you go in the toilet. You want to be putting in your well, right? Because that's what a sewer line is. Okay? You flush it. And by the way, if any of you want, you don't all know what a septic tank? Have any of you been on private? Have you ever been in the country? Okay, guess what? Don't you have special things? You don't put things down out in the country. They have a certain type of toilet paper. They're safe. You know, the issues are in the tissues. You might have the wrong type of toilet paper to block things up. And there are other things you have to do. You have to watch how much water you put in. So if you have that, and today we're looking at all sorts of a lot of things you don't want to flush down. Like, what things do you don't want to flush down? Besides your dog and your cat. Yeah. Bald eagle. Yeah. Sister, I already said that. You guys gonna, Next time you get a drink of water, I'll slam the toilet seat on your neck. You better watch it. Okay. No, in all seriousness, what you don't flush down the toilet are oils, cleaning, a lot of pharmaceuticals, you know, your drugs and stuff like that. A lot of stuff you don't want to put in there, right? It's not like, even, you know, when you floss, that stuff will stunt. I've seen it, my friends, toilet got all stuffed up with that. So you don't want to, it's not a garbage disposal. You put that in the trash. Even you don't want to, people at home, you're trying to compost, even food waste. If you have a septic system, it's gonna cause real problems. You know, when you say you want to put it and use that into, what does compost go into? What do you make compost in? You make it into what's underneath us? New soil, you guys. By the way, you know who was one of the first composters in the United States? George Washington. George Washington had a compost thing in Mount Vernon. He was our first president in the compost. You know why? Because when he was planting tobacco sucked all the nutrients out of the ground. So he took all his waste, the horse droppings and everything, and hay and straw and all this vegetable waste, and he composted. Okay? Okay, a watershed. You know what a watershed is? Today we're going to do a watershed, and what it's going to be is a cup. But a watershed is a shed that stores water, a geographic area where water flows, or an outhouse. How many think it's a shed that stores water? Okay, it's out in the back, it's a shed that stores water. How about a geographic area? You know what geographic area means? That's like a region, like the Shenandoah Valley is a geographic area. Roanoke Valley is Roanoke Valley. Okay? And the last thing is, how many say an outhouse? And I'll cut you off your dessert. Okay, so what do you think we're talking about? B, everyone, it's B. It's not a shed you put water, it's not an outhouse. You don't put your water in an outhouse. Holy cow. Okay, you all, listen up, listen up. Remember what I was telling you? That's right, it's a giant. Now years ago, you ever seen wetlands before? You know what wetlands are? Are wetlands a good way to recycle water or a bad place? It's the best place to recycle water, watershed. Because the best area because they have a lot of earth. That's why the Amazon, by the way, you ever heard of the Amazon before? That's a great area. So what we need is to keep certain areas. So what we do is on streams, is it good to have trees by streams and plants or bad? Good. It's good, you guys. So when they're building now, you know what they're starting to do? They're designing vegetative strips. So when the water runs down, it cleans the water. It takes the oils and stuff out of it. Nature will heal itself, just like our body heals ourselves, if you give it a chance. So a watershed is a giant filter, so that's why you trees. Okay? Another word for spoil. What act ruins water when we use it? When we ruin water, it's called treatment, A. How many say treatment? B, pollution. C, dilution. So when we mess something up, we what? Pollute it. And you know what the solution to pollution is? Us. Each one of us doing our part. Someone mentioned litter before. You know how much we spend on just cleaning the highways up? Tens of millions of dollars. I think maybe up 80, 90, almost $100 million just to pick up trash. And then what happens, it gets out there and it gets into our drinking water. It's bad. You know, yes?
And when the air gets clean.
Yeah, that's right. You know, we have a real problem today. In the ocean, there's a huge, big pollution of stuff out there. You know what it's called? Litter. It's a big thing of plastic now. They're finding big things of plastic in the ocean, so we're trying to reduce our things. And we'll talk about that in a while. Okay. Remember what I told you before? Erosion. See right there? Can you see it? When you have mud and stuff, and you ever stepped in that mud and see what it does?
Yes.
That causes problems. So what you need is, they call fences. They have silk fences to keep it off. Now what happens if that happens and it gets real dry? There's something else that happens. If we don't have any soil, there's another way. Yeah, it goes in the air. What's that called? It's another new problem, I can tell you. When you don't have water in a place, what does it turn into?
Yes.
No. Well, on the land I'm talking about. That's right. When water, where's a place that doesn't have a lot of water? What are they called? Desert. And what happens when that storm? So what is that stuff called? Wind, sand, dust. Dust is a real problem now. So we need to make sure we don't have dust problems. So, I'm just a kid. How much time? Okay, I don't glitter. I know I'm only one person. Remember I said the solution to pollution is each one of us? You all. We have witnessed things that happen in this country. If you said the President of the United States 10 years ago was going to be Barack Obama, most people thought you're crazy. We are at a time that things are going to change. And you know who that's going to do the change? Am I going to do the change?
No.
It's not me, it's we are going to do it. Each one of you can do your part. Okay? I'm just a kid. I can make a difference. You want to make everyone. You know what that is? A lightning bolt of action. We can make a difference. Okay? So you guys, I know about this. Years ago, I had a dream. I found oil in the water where I live. You know where that watershed I was telling you about, where Sasha Obama goes to school? Well, they had oil all through. And you know where the oil went? Right down to the largest water drinking plant in the District of Columbia, D.C. You know what I did? I built a multi-million-dollar oil recycling plant. It's done over 100 million gallons of oil. You know, 1 gallon of oil, you know how much water it pollutes?
A lot.
1 million gallons of water.
Whoa.
And antifreeze, all that stuff. We can all make a difference. So, reducing. Remember the 3 R's? Reducing. Now, how can we reduce our water use? Does anyone know? Yes.
Reuse.
Okay, but reuse is the next one, but how do you reduce using something? Does anyone know? Okay, that's the third one. You all know what reduce means? It's use less or more?
Less.
Okay, so how do we use less? Okay, what happens? What do we do? When we wash, what do we do sometimes? Do we take a bath or a shower?
Shower.
Okay, what uses more, bath or a shower? How many of you say shower uses more water? Raise your hand. How many of you say bath uses more water? Raise your hand. That is correct. Bath uses more water. Everyone, yes. Sorry, I got to So you know, reduce. Okay, there's another way you can reduce. Today, instead of going out, you can get metal or plastic containers, preferably metal these days, but you can, instead of buying bottled water, what can you do? You get your own container, right? Instead of having a plastic cup, what can you have? A ceramic cup or a glass, right? So we can keep using things again, sometimes we can save, okay? Reuse. Okay, that's reduces and also goes into reusing. Now how can, we're reusing something here. How can we reuse water? Does anyone know? Yes. How do you know how to reuse water? Does anyone know? You ever wash your dog before?
Yeah.
When you wash your dog, you can wash your dog and reuse the water on the lawn. Or there's other ways of reusing things, right? I use, by the way, do you all take a shower?
Yeah.
When you turn the shower on and it's first heating up, you just jump into that cold water. I put a bucket there. You know what I do? I catch the water there. And you know what I do with that water? I give it to my plants. Let me give you an idea of why that's going to be important. In the East Coast, every summer, when people watering their lawns, you know how much it uses? What percent of our drinking water is used? Our drinking water is used to water our lawns. How much? What percent? Like a 1/4%, a 1/3%, 1/2%, 2/3, 3/4? Does anyone know? Yes.
2/3.
Yeah. 2/3. That's a little high. That's too high. Be lower.
A quarter.
Nope, that's too low. 33.3%, a third of our water. So it's crazy. We're using good drinking water for water, so we need to reuse that as much as possible and use it less. So the good way to can reduce and reuse, when we use water, we can take it off when it rains, we can have, you know what some people do? They catch in rain barrels. Have you ever seen those before? Some people drink it. We're going to be drinking that water in a while. In Africa and all over the places I've been, and out west. You go out west. You go to Las Vegas, you go to California, anywhere out west, they're doing this right now. Just here we have a lot of it. And the last thing is recycled water. Okay? Already we recycle a lot of water. You don't realize that water is constantly being recycled. The water here goes downstream and the other person cleans it up and it's recycled. Now, have you ever been to Florida or California? Yep. Have any of you been there? Most of the water, if you're in the southern part of the state, is reused. They all reuse it. And that's something you're going to see worldwide. Yes?
I know a lot about
Okay. Because when I used to work for the city of San Diego as a recycling coordinator, and 20 years ago, they were out there hosing the driveway. And I say, this is crazy. Because it was coming from the Colorado River. That was up north. They didn't have it because, you know that whole area? They don't have much water in Southern California. That's a desert. And in Florida, they're having real problems there too, because they use the water. Right. So be a friend. What? So when you're brushing your teeth, you're going to leave the water all day to do it. Yeah, you use it, rinse. Okay. Are you going to go out in the middle of the day with your, you know, like Saturday and Sunday and water your plants at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock when it's 90 degrees out?
Yes.
Wrong. When's the time? When do you want to water the plants?
3 o'clock. When it's like 80.
80? In the morning or the evening? Or in the middle of the day? How many say morning and the evening? Raise their hand. How many say in the middle of the day? Believe it or not, in the morning and the evening is the best time.
Yes.
And you don't want to overwater. Sometimes properly dispose of your waste. Dog doo-doo is a problem. We have problems or what? We have all sorts of problems with our septic systems now, you know? Remember I talked about septic before? If they're not cleaned out, they overfund. I know it sounds terrible, but it's bad. And we're cleaning up our watershed. We're finding that all this stuff is bad, right? Now, before, your teachers can tell you, no one was doing that 10 years ago, right? Okay. And then finally, reduce, reuse, recycle. Everybody say reduce, reuse, recycle. Okay. So everyone. Let's do it. One last. Real sound. Water is life. Thank you all. You're a great group. And I look forward. Let's give everyone seal of approval. Hi, seal of approval. I look forward to having dessert with you all. You guys will have a good dessert at the end of the day. Okay? Now listen up. Now this is time to shift and listen to your teachers. Everyone, eyes on each teacher.
Yeah, so he's shutting on.
There's a watershed I grew up. Just three. Listen up.
Yes. We're right here. We're all here.
We're all here?
Can we
Okay. So the first thing I want to get everyone to do is I want everyone to move up this way a little bit. Like this? Yeah. Like, oh, I love it. Okay, stop. Stop. Okay, stop. Look, I want all your eyes. Listen up. All your eyes on me. Look this way. Now, if I don't get all your attention, I'm not going to start. Okay? Okay? Welcome, you all. My name is what? Now, we have 3 rules. The first one, you have to keep quiet unless I ask you, okay? The second one is you have to have fun. And the third one is you can't disrupt. You have to make sure everyone has fun together, right? Good job, okay. Today, I'm going to talk about water is life. Water is life. And when I was talking about on the assembly about how important water is, do you all know why water is important? Last weekend, what did you do? Did you guys do anything with water? Yes.
When you feel like drinking something?
Yeah, drinking something, yes. You're hot, yes. What else can you do with water? Get wet, yes. Play with water, yes. Put water on you.
Swim.
Yes.
Swim. You can water power.
Yes. What else?
Swim.
Boat.
Boat.
Rowing. Right? Yeah. There's a lot of things we do with water, right? So water is every part of us. Now, listen up, please. Water is used for everything, okay? Water equals life, you all. Now, just yesterday I was hiking up the mountain, and you know what I took with me? Yeah. Now, you know how long can you survive without sleep? You can not a pretty long time. How about food?
24 hours.
Long time. But without water, you can't last too long. And right now you're going to see how important drinking water is. So I'm going to talk about the whole water cycle. But water touches us everywhere. It's sacred. You know what sacred means? It means it's really, really special. Because it connects to all things. We're all made of water. The earth's all made. Remember? Remember the earth right here? We take, this is our heart, right? And we take the H off our heart and put it at the end. What does it spell? Earth. And the heart drives what in a circle in our body?
Water.
And the thing outside, what the sun drives at around. And what we're going to talk about right now is the water cycle. Remember when I did this? This is the whole cycle. So on the top of this, the stuff up here, precipitation. Remember this stuff? That what's that also called? Rain. Rain, like yesterday. Yeah.
The clouds can only hold the water for so long that when they can't hold it anymore, they have to leave.
That's correct. Clouds can't hold it, and it precipitates. And then see, there's two things that go. See where that house is? It either runs off. You know what runoff is, because you saw it yesterday, right? You guys played puddles? Yeah, puddles are like runoff. It runs off, or it goes into the ground. It infiltrates. It goes down into the ground. Okay? And then it goes down into, we're going to make a dessert today with ice cream and Oreos. You're all good. Soda. And we're going to show the aquifer. Okay? The recharge area is going to be the ice cream. The aquifer is going to be, we're going to show later, it's going to be the grape soda. We have grape soda. And then what happens, it goes down in two ways. It either runs off, that's called surface water. Does anyone know what surface water is like? Have you seen it before? Yeah. Myrtle Beach, yeah, that's surface water. Anyone knows what water? Surface water? The Atlantic Ocean, yeah. There's other surface water, yes. The beach. We got the beach is big, but there's other surface water around here. Yes.
I know.
Beach is big, yes.
Pacific.
No, we're all doing the ocean, but there's other types of water surface.
I know.
No? You gotta say what? A lake. Yeah, let's give a seal of approval. Okay, so it all drains two ways. It either goes on the surface or it goes into the ground. Okay? When it goes into the ground, okay, it goes down, and that's what we're going to show with the dessert today. It seeps down into the ground, and then it goes out, eventually the ocean. Now, where I live in around 81, here in Roanoke Valley and Shenandoah Valley, there's a thing where the earth has a lot of caves. Have you ever seen caves, into caverns? That is Swiss cheese-like ground. What happens, the water becomes very, 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 very vulnerable. You know what vulnerable means? It means it's really, you got to watch out. You got to be careful with the water. Okay? And that's, so what you have to do is protect that water. That's called karst. We'll talk about that later. I'll show you. So water connects life. There's just some surface water right there, life. Okay, remember I told about attitude? You put your heart right here. If we have an attitude, a good attitude, and we do the right thing, and we send our love and good thoughts to waters, it helps it. We can change if we have a good attitude. Right? And what happens, and this is Dr. Emoto's did a study proving that, and when you change the expression of water, it will look like this. Like a snowflake, correct? This is a big, powerful microscope, excuse me. And look, it likes a diamond. So if we create good action and good thoughts, we can keep it crystal. Beautiful. So it's amazing, the attitude of gratitude. So we're going to do our question and answer part now. Okay, how many of you, what energy source moves the water around? How many say wind? Put your hand up. Wind. How many say the sun? Raise your hand. And how many say the earth? Raise your hand. What moves the water? Okay, what moves the water around in our body?
Our heart.
Okay. Outside, what moves it around? The sun. Now, the earth does move some of the water by gravity. But ultimately, the sun dries everything around. And also the moon helps too. Okay, drinkable water. You know, most of our body is made of water similar to most of the earth. So what percent, and that's salt water. You know what salt water is? You've been to the beach? You ever drink salt water before? Well, all you do is put salt in water and you'll see. Okay, what percent of our water is fresh for us to drink? 30%? 3%? Or 13%? If you said 3%, you're right. Let's seal the approval. So we don't have a lot of drinkable water. Very important you understand. Okay. Now right now, have you ever heard about climate change or global warming? Okay, you know what's happening? Certain things happen. Another form of water as a gas is called A, melting. How many say melting? When water, B, steam. How many say steam? Or C, erosion. Another form of water as a gas. When water turns into a gas, it's called, what is it?
Steam.
It's steam, correct. Have you ever made tea before? Or heat it up, or it rises off, right? Now what's happening on the planet is we're having a problem because we have all this carbon. And it's giving a problem with our sun, and it's heating what? The planet up or down? Up. And what's happening?
Emily.
What's happening in the North Pole and the South Pole? It's snowing is there, but what's happening? Yes. It's getting bigger or smaller? Is that what? Smaller. What's happening to it is what happens when it gets hot? What happens to ice when it gets hot? It melts. It melts, so it's melting. Now you see, I've been to Alaska before, and up on those glaciers, you get that good water that's coming off the ice, and that's been there for thousands and thousands of years. That's fresh water. See, it takes thousands and thousands a year. But the water up in the Antarctic, no, that's the Arctic. The Antarctic is down here. The Arctic and the Antarctic is melting. And what happens is that mixing with the salt water, that's not good. It's also raising things up. But what's happening with climate change is, you know what's happening? It's causing problems. It's causing less what? Water. It's also affecting another thing that we have for lunch. It's impacting our food. Yes. Okay, so what is the symbol for water? How do you think it's CO2? Raise your hand. CO2. The symbol for water is CO2. How many think the symbol for water is H2O? And how many think the symbol for water is O2? So what the answer is? H2O. Water. It's also called hydro. Okay. Now what's CO2? That's carbon dioxide. That's carbon that comes out of, when CO2 comes from trees. Well, when we exhale, you know what that is? That's CO2. Okay? And O2 is what? Oxygen. That's what we breathe in. We breathe in oxygen, we exhale CO2, and if we're on the weekend we were playing, when we're sweating, you know what we're getting rid of? H2O. It's a little salty though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. So the study of water, is it called geology? Geology? A. How many says geology? How many believe that the study of water is called hydrology? Hydrology? Anyone? Any hands for hydrology? Okay. And the study of water is called ecology. How many think ecology? Anyone? So what do you think the answer is? It's hydrology. Okay. Geography, geology, and all those. Geo means the earth. Okay. Geo is the study And eco is the whole system. Eco comes from the Greek, I believe, our home. Eco is the big banana, big thing. It's not a banana. And what is that thing right there? That looks like a well.
But it is helpful.
Okay. Okay, so I told you there's two things that are in peril now, right? With climate change and our water. So, what is it called when I add water to crops? Is it called dusting? When I add water to crop, do I dust them?
No.
Is it B, irrigation? Irrigation? Or C, cultivation? C, cultivation. What is it called when I water crops? Have you ever heard the expression, say it, don't spray it?
Dusty. Yeah.
Don't communicate, don't irrigate. B, irrigation. Now, do you know how much water goes, of all the good drinking water, that 3% of water, all the good water, you know how much goes to irrigation? How much? 75%? 25%? 3%? The answer is 3/4. You know what 3/4 of it? How much is that? 75% of all our good drinking water goes to food. So in the next few years, do you think we're going to start looking at the way we're going to irrigate? Okay, let me give you an example. People on the East Coast during the summer, how much percent of their drinking water goes to watering the lawn? 3%? 10%? 33%? 40%? Believe it or not, 33%. That's our drinking water. You know what are homes? Have you ever seen limestone and all stuff like that? That means the water is like that Swiss cheese. And that, what happens is when water goes over the surface called karst, it's Swiss cheese, does that become surface water or it becomes groundwater? It becomes groundwater, it infiltrates. You guys, I want to see all your eyes. Oh, I'm watering that place. That's good. Okay, so infiltrates, when water moves down Earth's surface, does it precipitate, infiltrate, or evaporate? How many say precipitates? How many say infiltrates? How many say evaporates? The answer is infiltrate. See, this is precipitate, and this is evaporate, but this is infiltrate. It goes down into it. Gets down into it. Okay, now, you know the number one waste in our country is water, wastewater. You know how many billions of tons that is that we waste in this country? For most people don't know this. I'm going to tell you right now, 9 billion tons. Lots of wastewater. Okay? Now, if you don't, like at the school, if you live out in the country like I do, you're out in the woods or you don't have a lot of people around, you usually don't have a sewer. So when you flush the toilet, it goes somewhere else. Does it go to A, your well? Does your toilet go to your well?
No.
B, your septic system. B, septic system. You listening? B, septic system. Or C, goes to your garden shed. We're going to do that one more time. I want everyone's cooperation on this. Okay. Does it go to your well? No, it doesn't go to your well. You don't drink what you flush down. Okay? Go birds. Okay. It goes to your septic tank. It doesn't go to your garden shed. You don't steal all your garden, right? Oh yeah, Slumdog Millionaire. Yeah, they did that. Okay, what stores your groundwater? Okay, and we're going to talk about groundwater. Remember we talked about there's two-way waters goes. One is on the surface, the other infiltrates into the ground. Remember we talked about that? So what stores the groundwater? Does our septic tank store all that clean water? Does our septic tank take all that clean water? No, our septic tank doesn't take it. Does our well take it?
Yeah.
Well, what's a well for? Well, what is our well? When we go to a well, what are we getting out of a well? We go to a well to fetch Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch sugar. They went to get water, so it comes out of or an outhouse. You go to your outhouse to get water? Let's go get some water for dinner at the outhouse. So the answer is well. Everyone say well. Everyone put your hands to your heart. Okay, that's a good breath. Okay, a watershed. You know what a watershed is? Is a watershed a shed that stores water? How many think it's a shed that stores water? Is it a place or an area, a region where water flows? You know, like the Shenandoah, the Roanoke Valley. It's like the Roanoke Valley. Is that a watershed? The Roanoke Valley watershed? Or is it an outhouse? An outhouse. What do you think it is? A watershed is the Roanoke Valley. It's an area where you live where all the water goes. It's not an outhouse, and it's not a place that stores water. I mean, a shed, so to say. You know what I mean by a shed? Do you all have a shed at your house, you know, when you put your bicycle in, and it's like, yeah, let's get a seal. It's a little time. Okay, you guys, a watershed is a giant filter. Have you ever seen wetlands before? You know what wetlands is? Cattails? No, buggy, and looks all like Florida and the Everglades and stuff like that. Have you ever seen what that looks like? But they're around here too. Are those good for water or bad for water? You think it's bad? How many think it's bad for water? Wetlands. How many think it's good for water? Believe it or not, wetlands are great for water. Wetlands recycles the water. The best way to clean that water is through wetlands. Okay? Now there's other ways. Now if I have water by my house, like I have a little stream, do I want to put trees and vegetation matter around it? Or no, I just want to clear everything out, tear everything down, and do I just cut everything down and not keep trees by? How many think I should keep my trees? Raise your hand. How many think I should tear my trees down? Well, believe it or not, you don't want to chop those trees down. Those trees recycle water. They help purify. Now, you guys, have you ever seen when they build new office buildings now, you know what they're doing now, big buildings? They're taking and putting little grass strips in little areas. They're actually a thing called green roofs. And you know what they're trying to do? When the water comes off, they're catching the water off the roof, and they're making sure it goes through the vegetation. That's how clean, that's what, you know what a filter is, y'all? A filter, yeah, for your water, it cleans things. So you want to keep the filter clean, right? Yes? Okay. Now, we have another word for spoil. Yeah. Spoil. Another word for spoil. An act that ruins what water used to be. If we're spoiling the water, are we treating the water? Are we polluting the water? Or we're diluting the water? If we're spoiling water, are you a diluter or a polluter? A polluter. Give a hoot, don't pollute. The solution to pollution is all of us. We can all create change. We can all clean up. We all create problems. Hey, you all remember when they had that hurricane down in New Orleans?
Oh, yeah.
You see? That showed people, people started thinking, oh, all that stuff's bad. They started to realize some of that stuff you got to be careful with, right? Like you don't go out and, you don't go out and take laundry bleach and throw it on your plants, right?
No.
It doesn't help it, right? That's not good. Okay, you know the number one source of water pollution? Do you remember when it rained yesterday?
Yeah.
Did you guys go outside and look at the water?
Yeah.
Did some of the water look brown and darkish?
Yeah.
What that's called is erosion. You know what erosion? That's the number one source of water pollution. And it comes from our soil. Now, you know what happens? If we get a really bad case of erosion, and all the plants go like that, and then it dries up, then we get like 3 or 4 weeks of the way it was the last 4 days when it was 80, 90 degrees. You know what that turns into? That dirt? What happens when the dirt dries? It turns into something. Yes. It blows. Okay, let me ask you another question. Where's the place where there's the worst place to be without water on the planet? Where? What's it called? Dry land. What's another name? Yes. Desert, not dessert. We're not going to be eating dessert. We're going to have a desert. And what happens? What happens when the wind blows in the desert? Dust. That's another problem. So remember I talked about climate change? What's happening right now, we're having big dust storms. Because if we allow erosion to happen, and by the way, have ever you all been to other parts of the country? If you go out west, they have a real water problem. Yes?
I had a question about the well.
The well, okay?
If I made a wish,
Yeah.
I was actually going to wish that I could have more water, that this whole planet could have more water than you could ever imagine.
That's a great wish. But you gotta be careful what you wish for. If you get too much water, it's called a what? Flood. So you gotta be careful what you wish for. So I'm just a kid. I don't pollute. I don't litter. By the way, we didn't talk about littering. You know what? Just let you know, sometimes you ever get like little candy like today, later when we have our dessert, we're going to have our earth dessert, our water dessert. Guess what? I'm going to ask each one of you not to litter. I want you all to clean up. I don't pollute. Okay? So what can you do? You know what I want you to do? Can you all go like this? You know what I want you to be? A lightning bolt. Of action. You know what I want you to be? I want you to strike and help out. Now, there's 3 things you can do. The 3 R's. Does anyone remember the 3 R's? Yes. Relitter? No, the 3 R's are, yes. Recycle's the last R. The first R, what's the first one? Reduce. What's the second one? Respect is a good R, but it's not that one. What's when we take something? Listen up. No. Reduce. Reuse. Recycle. See? Now, let's talk about reduce. How can we reduce? Ken? Does anyone know how we can reduce? Does any one of you guys like brush your teeth? So when you brush your teeth, the water's on, you're going. I don't know how there are clouds in your bathroom, but you guys are like looking like this. What do you do when you brush your teeth?
Turn off the water.
Turn off the water. That's reduce. Is there any? Just a waste of water. So do you know other ways you can reduce? All right. How many have you? Okay, let's have a question. How many of you here? How many of you believes it takes more water for a shower? Raise your hands. How many people it takes more water for a bath? Raise your hand. Does it take more water taking a bath? You water buffaloes. Yeah, so a shower. Well, it depends on how long you take a shower. Okay? Shower has less. And you can reduce it by putting a special shower. Instead of the shower, you know what that's called? A shower has little tiny things, you guys. Okay? Okay, the second thing is reusing. Reusing. I've lost you guys. I'm going to start singing. I'm a little watering can. If I don't get all your eyes, I'm not going to talk to you anymore.
Turn around and look, boys and girls.
I want all your eyes.
One more thing.
Okay, so what other ways we can reuse? What other things can we reuse? Or how about this? I got something I constantly put stuff in. Yeah. Does anyone know what's other way that we can reuse?
Bottles.
Yep.
Toys.
Toys.
And baby
Toys, that's right.
And
How about this? You know what this is? You know what this is? Yeah, of course. This is reuse. This is old fabric. These are scraps. See? These are all scraps. It's reused. See? It's all reused. So, and the last thing is recycling. Okay, you know what recycling and water, how important, you know, one person's water someone else's use. Did you know that? It takes time, it takes a couple thousand years, but what happens a lot of times in other places in the country, has anyone been to in Florida before? South Florida? Anyone been to Florida? Anyone been to California, Southern California? What are they doing with their water? They drink it, but they also take that wastewater and what do they do with it? They recycle it, yeah. What do they take it back out? They put it back and they use the lawns, right? So they can't. Now, years ago, when I lived in California, I was a recycling coordinator in San Diego, people used to sit there with their hose and go. They don't do that anymore because it was a waste. They save things. They in their toilet, they have savers in the toilet. So they make sure they can recycle that water. That water can be used again and again. So recycle. Now, what other things can you do to save water? Does anyone know? Yes. By not wasting. But what other ways can we save water? Yeah? Okay, that's right. There's a lot of ways we can save water. Number one, does anyone know how much, my expertise in recycling comes years ago in the watershed I was telling you about. Where I live, I was telling you, a little girl named Sasha goes to school. Okay, you remember Sasha? What's Sasha's last name? That's right, Obama. Can you say Sasha Obama? Sasha Obama! When she goes to school, in her watershed, I found a lot of stuff called oil. Oil was being turned out, people changing the cars, and from their storage tanks. Now, you know where all that water went? It went right down to the big plant in D.C. where they drink water. 1 gallon of water pollutes 1 million gallons of drinking water. Enough for 50 people. Now, years ago, I was very lucky because a friend of mine, we got together and we built an oil recycling plant. We recycled over 100 million gallons of oil. Now, you know the problem is, oil, you know what? Oil gets into the water, water gets in the oil. When we get stuff in the water, it gets really bad. Now, what other stuff gets in the water, you know, like in a toilet and stuff like that? What don't we want to throw away in the water? Like what? Our Tonka trucks, our Barbie dolls, what else? Trash, newspaper, clothes, what other stuff? Money. Do we want to take our old medication and pour them down the toilet? No, that's right. What else? Yes. Batteries, that's right. Credit cards, right. Did you all hear about plastic, by the way? There's a dog. No, you don't want your dog to go down the toilet. You got to keep the dog. He doesn't like that. Unless he has an aqua dog. But I don't think, what? A toy dog's not good either. So, we got to be careful with that. Okay? So, be a friend. Use water only when it's really needed. Okay? You know when you use it when it's only needed? Like when you water the lawn, it's over the weekend, Saturday, it's 89 degrees. Do you go out and water your plants in the middle of the day? No. When do you want to water? In when? In the morning, correct. And we want to overwater, right? Okay, so only use it when we need it. And dispose of what? Beefy waste and stuff like that. You remember? You have little bags you see around? Spot dogs. You see, people do that around here, right? Everyone does that? 10 years ago, they didn't do that, did they? Or 15 years ago, right? That's just new, because we're finding out all that stuff hurts our water. And you know, when that stuff gets in our water, you know what it causes? It causes a thing called diarrhea. E. coli. Yeah, so you gotta be careful. That's why we're trying to make sure water helps us. Remember, water equals life? Right now, you know what the president wants us to do a lot? Is what is asking people to do? Recycle. There's another thing. We want to wash our hands. When we cough, we want to cough like that. We don't want to cough out to people because there's a thing, we don't want to spread germs. So, you know, 90% of disease is waterborne. So we got to make sure we keep disease out of our water. That's another thing we want to dispose of. And then reduce, reuse, and recycle. Can you all say reduce, reuse, recycle? Reduce, reuse, recycle. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Everyone, get on your feet for a second. You guys are... It's time to celebrate. Okay, let's do it. On the R, yes. Oh, I'm a little teapot. No. Let it rain all the way down. Infiltrates in the ground. Runs all the way back up and then evaporates in the sky. And see what? What are these things up here? What are these things? Clouds. What happens when they're clouds? Lightning. Now, after a storm, you know what you see sometimes? It's something beautiful, all the colors. And what do you see? Rainbow. That's created by the water. That's how we celebrate. Now, I call it this character years ago, recycle, because the water goes in the sun in a circle. So let's put our hands on our heart. Okay, and we take the H off our heart and put it at the end. What does it spell? Earth. And our heart meets water in a circle about all the way up. See how long? Everyone now sit back down. If you're all good, we're going to have a dessert later. Keep quiet. Now everyone listen.
Karen has a very important question.
How can you make the water clean?
What a good question.
That's a great question. Does anyone have an answer to this?
No.
Yes, how can we make the water clean? That's right. We pick up the trash off the ground. Yes, we pick the trash off the ground. What other ways can we make it? We can recycle. We can recycle to save water.
Oh, Sean says you can filter the water because he used to have a pool. You can filter it and make it clean.
That's correct. You can filter it.
Sean?
You can plant one of those things. What?
You can also get a filter that runs on its own.
Yeah.
Without water.
Yeah.
It's just sucking into the
Yes. You can. Yes. What else we can plant? What? What do you plant? Flowers helps. What else? Okay. Okay. Every other questions? Is that it? Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. You all. Everyone, listen. Let's be quiet, real quick.
Hold up 3 fingers. They know what that means.
Use, reuse, recycle. I'm taking names. You're not going to get dessert. Now, you all have an assigned teacher here. And I want you to remember water is life, and I want you to make sure you understand it and you have good attitude, the attitude of gratitude, okay? You know what gratitude means? That means you like things, you're taking care of things. You appreciate things. Appreciate the same. Okay, thank you. Oh, seal of approval. Hi. Thank you all. Great job.
Here won first place, and he actually gets a gift certificate and a savings bond and gets to have lunch this week for doing such a good job, and that will be in the paper. So he did an excellent job with his writing essay about clean water and what water means to him. Today, you're going to be going to a classroom when we leave here today. We've made a little bit of an adjustment because the first session for second grade, you all will be together as a group, so you will remain here instead of going to the art room. Fourth grade, the last gathering after your rotations, when you're supposed to go to the art room, you will come back here so that we'll have enough space. Boys and girls, we have a lot of people who have taken their time to come with us today and volunteer and do this project for us. So let's make sure that we show good character, that we're quiet, that we're good listeners, and that we're very appreciative of the time that they have for us today. We have a gentleman.
He's ready.
Is he ready? Rob Arner, who is going to begin our presentation today. And we're ready.
Greetings! How are you all today, water bodies? You guys are good? Are you great? I can't hear you. We're going to have a celebration because water is life. So welcome to our festival. And what we're going to do all day as water bodies is we are going to have an attitude of gratitude for that stuff that we're all made of and the world's all made of. W, give me a W. Give me an A, give me an A, give me a T, give me a T, give me an E, give me an E, give me an R, give me an R. What do you have? Water. I can't hear you. Okay, first we're going to do is we're going to put our hands right here. And we're going to go like this. We're going to go water. Okay, give you guys a big seal of approval. I can't hear you. So, we're going to have several hours of fun. And we're going to celebrate why water is life. And what we're going to do right now is we're all going to stand up. Everyone, get on your feet. Yeah, spread out. Everyone spread out. Okay, now the first thing I want you to do is I want you all to spell water with me. Give me a W, W. Give me an A, A. Give me a T, T. Give me an E, E. Give me an R, R. What do you have? Water! Yeah! Everyone, a seal of approval again. Great job. If you're all good today, we have a dessert. Not a desert, but a dessert. We're going to have a watershed float. Now, if you're good, we'll do it with ice cream and soda and little sprinkles and cookies. If you're bad, we do it with gravel and sand and dirt. It's all right. Okay, now, we're going to have all sorts of different talks about various things. One of the talks are going to be about a thing called hydrology, about H2O. You know what that's all about? W. A, T, E, R. Water. Now, does any one of you know what it spells if you take the H off heart and you put it at the end of the word? You take H off heart and you put it at the end. Yes? Ear. Ear? Anyone else? Earth. Let's give a big seal of approval for Earth. Earth, Earth, Earth. You see, our heart takes all our water around the circle into our body. It pumps the blood. You know, our blood's mostly water. Does anyone know outside what drives the water around in a circle? Yes, in the back. What's the thing out there that drives the water in a circle? You got to put on blocks sometimes. Yes?
The sun.
The sun. Let's give a big seal over the sun. Yeah. You see, the sun is very important. By the way, if you don't believe there's water around, all you have to do is go outside today. You'll feel it, right? So we're going to learn about a lot of things. We're going to learn about evaporation. We're going to learn about infiltration. We're going to learn all sorts of different things about pollution. Does anyone know what pollution is? What's pollution?
It's when people litter.
That's right. That's pollution. And we're going to learn about the solution to pollution. Does anyone know what the solution? Yes.
Cleaning up.
Cleaning up. Let's give us a big seal of approval for cleaning up. We're going to learn about the 3 R's. Does anyone know what the 3 R's? Yes, in the back. Reduce. Everyone say reduce, reuse, recycle. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Yeah, we got a little dance around it. Also, we're going to learn today about something really important called erosion. Now, have you ever seen what happened the last few days when it rains? When it got really dirty, the water, what color is the water when it gets really dirty? Brown. And what is that stuff that's making it brown? Yes? Dirt. See, dirt's really good, but we want to make sure we try to keep the dirt in the soil. And there's ways we can help the dirt at home. You know what we can do? We, instead of throwing our stuff out in the trash, we can compost it. Does any of you all have a garbage disposal? Well, sometimes you can take the lettuce and the coffee grounds and you can make it in a pile outside, and earthworms love that stuff, right? Great stuff. Finally, what I want to emphasize today is your attitude of gratitude. Remember we go back to the heart? We went to the water. I'm going to show you, if you have the right attitude and you love water, it's going to make the water better. If you have a bad attitude and don't like water, it's going to be all mucky and gunky. It's not going to do good, right? It's just like a plant. Do you ever, any of you have plants at home?
Yeah.
Are you nice to your plants or mean to your plants?
Nice.
Yeah. So I want you to be nice to your water. I'm going to show you, when you're nice to your water, it becomes like diamonds. So I look forward to seeing you all later for our watershed float. We're going to talk about watersheds today and some other things like evaporation. And let's give a big W. Give me a W. Give me an A. Give me an A. Give me a T. Give me a T. Give me an E. Give me an E. Give me an R. Give me an U. Water. I can't hear you. Water. All the way to the Mississippi River. Water. Give me a big seal of Bravo. Thank you, water bodies. Have a great day. I look forward for our watershed floats, which will simulate our watershed later. Take care,